I'm just kidding. Party in progress. I'm recording, doing crazy stuff with my arms. Hello and welcome to the Naughty Shaman podcast. This is Natalie Carlisle, and I'm here with Kjersti Vandesande, who is the owner and founder of True North Wellness in Lansing, Michigan. And I'm so happy. So we're doing a segment right now called Doing My Dharma. And Kjersti is one of those people that I stalk on Facebook because she has just blossomed and grown her business and grown who she is and grown her life in such magnificent ways that I just had to figure out why, how, what happened. So we're going to dive into all these things and especially into the journey of how do we move out of low self-esteem, which many of us inherit from our families, from our culture, and then how do we make that journey through self-esteem into a place where we feel more confident, more authentic, and more capable of living a life that we dream of. So that's what we're talking about today with Kjersti. Welcome, my darling.
Hello, Natalie. It's so great to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. We always are having so much fun. So I'm glad that you're here and we'll have some fun today and share it with some people. All right, darling. So I know before I met you, and I met you, you were one of the very first groups that went through Dharma school in Michigan. No one knows that, but that's where Dharma school started, was in Michigan. And you were the first group that went through, weren't you?
Yes, I saw a sign for earth medicine and I was kind of like, eh, at the yoga studio where I was practicing. And then I saw ocean medicine and I was like, what is this? And I was just, it was just like a beacon, like magnetism. And I signed up right away.
Oh, I love
Um,
it.
and then I
That's
met
so
you and I
cool. I
fell in
know.
love
Thank
with you.
God. Thank God that meeting happened. I'm so lucky. But before you did Dharma school, like you're one of the super magical people that I know that have so many gifts in body work and Bowen techniques and all kinds of things. So before you did Dharma school, you were dabbling in the magical arts. What kind of things were you dabbling in, and how did you get started?
Yeah. So I started in physical therapy, but really when I was going to college to get my degree in physical therapy as an assistant, um, I found yoga, and I'll never forget that first yoga class. I was studying kinesiology, all the muscles, nerves, tendons, all the things. And something like a light turned on inside, and I realized that all the things I was studying in the books was actually inside of me, and that connection was really powerful, um, and really the start. And I fell in love with yoga, and I started doing yoga after I graduated and found a job. And it was a great job. They had a healthy stipend for continued education, and so I used up every penny, um, and then some. I At that yoga studio there in Brighton where we met, there was a lot happening. It was a great community. I mean, you know, Stacy. I think we both love
Oh,
Stacy. Um,
totally.
and there I got trained in Reiki. I did aroma touch, the Bowen technique I was learning the same time I was taking my yoga teacher training.
Okay.
And it was really with Bowen, which is an osteopathic body work, that my hands were starting to kind of come into their own,
Yes.
sense things, and they'd get really hot. And people were asking me, like, what did you do with your hands? You know, and I'm like, nothing.
Yeah. It's just the way I am. It's just what I do.
And so I realized, I was like, oh, to really be ethical, I need to go get trained in some energy medicine type things. So that was what pushed me towards Reiki, and that was great. I had some really interesting experiences with Reiki, but I still wanted more. And so when I met you and started the Dharma School program, I was pretty hooked. Fire medicine scared the crap out of me, but
We don't walk on fire, just so you
yeah,
know. But yeah, it can be intimidating for other reasons.
it was more of like in my young life, single mom, working single mom. I was really like that. There's something about the fire and that idea that I would have to give things up, even
Mm,
though I didn't necessarily know what they were. that was like, oh, wait a minute, what is this? Um,
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, because fire medicine was the end of the program where we do say it's time to let go of the past and step
yeah.
into coming. That is terrifying. It's right. It's very good. But how powerful. I'm so glad you did it.
Yes. I signed up for it, but then I was so like I had a really profound experience where in my head I was like, "Oh my gosh, how do I get out of this class but not feel ashamed?"
Right, right.
I remember having this thought of, "Oh, if I'm sick, I can't go." And literally I got sick the night before, called Stacy.
Amazing manifesting.
Right? I mean, I'm a manifester in the human design, so I
Oh,
didn't know that at the time. And but I called Stacy and I was like, I don't think I can go. I don't want to give this to any of you. And she was like, "Oh, no problem, no worries, and we'll credit your account, blah blah blah." And literally like 2 hours after I get off the phone with her, I felt all better and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's the power of my mind. I just made myself sick." So it was a lesson. It was a teaching moment, even though I was so scared I didn't go.
that's amazing. No, I forgot that. I forgot that you didn't come to that one. That's right. Wow, powerful. You are so powerful. I love it.
For better or worse.
Yeah, I'll tell you. So when you came into Dharma school, like say a little bit, because now, you're a teacher, you're all involved in Naughty Shaman and Dharma school and everything that we're doing now. And so your confidence has really blossomed, but it hasn't always been this way, has it? Like, how did you wash up on the shores of this intense healing journey that you've been on?
Yeah. I mean, really, I think the main thing for me was I started asking myself curious questions. That's something we teach there, and it really stuck with me because I realized that in my self-talk and in my processes and in my really deep emotional experiences, my questions were usually ones that led me to validate that same low self-esteem, low self-worth, and that wasn't helping me. It was hurting me. And so I did the bravery, I did the 10 seconds of courage. I started asking myself curious questions that helped me get to the root of those patterns in my life of dating toxic people and staying
Mm,
in a job where I felt stuck. It wasn't a terrible job, it was a great job, but it just didn't align with me anymore. And I started listening to those whispers of my soul, you call them, and following that. It really it took me out of my head and asked me to be courageous and asked me to start practicing what I preach. Um, and once I started doing that, magic started happening.
my gosh, did it ever? I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember at Dharma school, you were in Connecticut. So you traveled to Connecticut for this. And I remember you were either getting out of a relationship or had been out of a relationship and were like, I don't know, I don't think I'm going to date anymore. I think I'm all done with this, but I really have this hope in my heart. And like, tell us about that whole manifestation thing, because then you came back the next Dharma school, which was a month later, and you're like, it was like overnight it happened.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was a whirlwind. But I mean, I was journeying all the time. I was doing all my practices, all the homework. I was actually faithful to my homework at Dharma school because
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, it was helping me. And I remember having this feeling of the guy I was with at the time at that last Starkeeper weekend, the second to last. That would have been in June. I had this vision that I was like dancing around the fire and I'm like throwing things in the fire and the fire has that ring of light that it reaches and then it was all darkness after that. And this guy I was dating was just kind of dancing around the ring of between light and dark and he wasn't joining me to dance in the fire and he wasn't walking away either. And I was like, that's so interesting. I really want somebody who's going to dance around the fire with me.
Mm.
And We ended up splitting up very amicably. He was actually a decent fellow. He wasn't the most toxic one I dated. I'd slowly gotten away from the really toxic ones. But it still wasn't, it wasn't an alignment. It wasn't, my heart wanted more. I wanted, like I said, somebody to dance around the fire with me.
Yeah.
So we split, and I actually let myself mourn. I remember really letting myself, honoring the feelings, honoring the ending, being really clear with my communication. And I went out with a friend. I had a really cool journey. It was Friday, July 1st, 2016. I did my journey and had a really cool journey. Ended up kissing some crystal man on another planet in the journey.
Love it.
It was fabulous. And then I was communicating with my friend and I was like, let's go out dancing tonight. And like, we were both single girls, like just go out on the town. And so she and I met up. And I remember like I was like, let's go to the martini bar. And she's like, no, there's no dancing there. She made sure we went somewhere that had dancing. And there was this bar called The Pound in Brighton. And of all places, I met my husband at a bar. But when I tell people we met at the Pound, they're like, "Oh, you were getting puppies?"
You're like, no, different story.
Yeah, different kind of pound. But he just like was looking at me and his blue eyes, and there was just like I was the only person on the planet, and he still looks at me like that. And so I hip checked him because he kept walking by, and,
Of course.
and I joked that we've been dancing ever since.
Oh,
Um, yeah, and that was a game changer because I had never had. I think I remember telling you,
yeah.
um, the love was so intense. Sometimes it felt like. Um, for me, it felt so intense to be loved like that. It was like when the ground is really dry and then it rains really hard and then there's these puddles left over. I was like, it's like puddles of love all over.
Oh my gosh, like
Um,
saturated.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
like it brought rain to the desert of my love life. And just to be supported and loved was a new and sometimes scary. I still had to work through all the things that would come up and, self-sabotage or just like still that unworthiness would peek its head around the corner and I'd have to be like, that's not where I'm at anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Like I love listening to your story because it is just such a journey of love. And there was this period where it sounds like maybe you didn't love yourself so much. There was like this lack of worthiness kind of circulating around. And then you grew to fall in love with yourself. And then this love came into your life. So you being a love expert now, I have some questions for you. Questions, girl.
There is a recipe.
Oh, right. What's the recipe? How do you do it? So there are so many people I know in our community that are wrestling with love. They're learning how to love themselves. They're learning how to love other people. They're getting the message, you've got to love yourself first. And if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else? That's RuPaul. And I love you, RuPaul. You're my spirit guide. So there are those thoughts in spiritual communities. And yet I see those thoughts sometimes like blocking people. Like they're like, oh, I can't date or I can't go out with anybody because I don't love myself enough yet.
Mm.
So what is your advice on this love journey? Like if we want to go manifest a crystal man to kiss at a bar someday, how did you begin this love journey?
I think first thing is, there was some idea of perfectionism, right? I think that's the block, and it's never gonna be like it's
Mm,
never gonna be perfect. We're here on Earth. I believe it's a dimension for growing. So you
yeah.
need compost in the garden. You're never gonna have a squeaky clean garden with no compost.
Mm,
So don't let that stop you. There's definitely a vulnerability and openness, but what I started with was really honing in on what kind of partner I wanted to be and
mm,
what kind of partner I wanted in my life. And then I started making a list, everything from like cowboy boots to like, for me, touch is a big thing. I wanted to be with somebody that I wanted to touch and that wanted to touch me. That was really important.
Yeah.
Um, and so I just kept making that list over and over and over again. And I was, I was talking to some girlfriends at the yoga studio that I trusted about it. And I remember there were two women in their 50s that I was hanging out with all the time in my mid 20s. I just love the wise women. Um,
Yes.
and one of them said, even when I'm so mad at my husband that I want to like just strangle him, I still wouldn't want to be with anybody else. And I remember having this moment of, oh my gosh, you can really be angry at somebody and still love them. Okay, like permission granted. So that
Wow.
was a big one. And then another friend, she said, in her manifestation of her love story, she said, your future self knows what you're going to need that you don't know now. She said,
Mm.
don't put a limit on the kind of love that you can get. And so there was a tapping into my higher self and my future self and having a conversation with her like, hey, girl, you know what I'm going to need in the future. Line it up.
Mm. Yeah, I'm taking notes. Keep going.
Yes.
Yeah, keep going.
And then there was a commitment on my part to say no to everything that wasn't what I wanted. There's that conversation with the universe where it sent me some like, hey, you could, you don't want to be lonely, so why don't you just settle for this or try this or da 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 da. But I had tried enough and knew enough about what I wanted that I was very clear. And I
Yeah.
think the big key for me was saying no to everything that wasn't what I wanted. And 2 weeks later, he kept staring at me. And I was
Oh
like,
my
I
God.
want more of that.
That is fantastic. I love that. I love this list. So let me see if I got it right. Like there
Yeah.
was this moment of, and I love that idea of you made a list, not just about what you wanted in your partner, but the kind of partner you wanted to be.
Yep.
Holy smokes. That's a game changer. I love that piece of advice. And did that help you kind of fall in love a little bit with who you were at the time?
I think so. I think so. Because I was on a journey of loving myself and
Mhm.
um, you know, the work we do to go to those places where we've hidden those parts of ourselves. I mean, I'm known in our community as the one who howls.
Yes,
Um,
you are a howler. I love it.
Yeah.
Well,
And I got to give credit to my baby girl because she was the one who was always sticking her head out the window and howling. And that reminded me of the inner child in me that wanted to howl. And so, reclaiming that wild woman and falling in love with her and realizing she didn't fit in a box. And it was okay if, I didn't have my parents' approval because um I'm working these layers even now. Like this year I had a session with Trisha. I
yeah.
all over my parents' approval all over again. And came to an even deeper realization that I have to approve of myself. Um and yeah, so definitely
Mm.
fell in love with it's a journey, right? It's not oh, now I'm in love with myself. No, I'm still getting to know her as she grows.
Yeah.
um yeah, there's always things to uncover and to commit to and to clear out. So,
So I love this idea too of compost that you said you have to have compost too, and that you're still on a journey with your loving yourself. Because I don't know if you see this, but sometimes I see a lot of people like waiting to arrive in a place of readiness. And I don't know, what are your thoughts about that? You're shaking your head. I'm like, I don't know about that. So what are your thoughts on that?
yeah. I've been a jumper.
Yeah.
I call myself a jumper. Like I will just jump off into things. If it feels right, I jump. I think that might also be part of my human design.
Mm.
Um, when it feels right, it feels right. But also, there's not always, I love this idea that there's not a right time. That, like, once you take that step, the universe is going to meet you. So there's that element of just going for it. And really, I think that really comes back to shedding this idea that it has to be perfect because if you're waiting for it to be perfect, like I said, your garden's never going to be squeaky clean. So go make something. Like if you're and I think too, the being on the medicine wheel in Dharma school helped me realize what season I'm at. Am I in a season where it's all about, composting and getting the garden ready and planting the seeds? Is it a time to water and nurture? Is it a time to clear out the garden and rest? Um,
Mm.
which season am I in? And knowing that has helped me know how to care for myself, how to love myself, what I'm ready for, what step I need to take. Um, yeah.
That's awesome. So you and Steve have been married now for how long?
We've been together for 9 years, married for 4.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, very cool. Congratulations on that.
Thanks.
Because you really like you have one of the wonderful relationships in our community. We have so many wonderful relationships, but yours stands out as one that's always filled with fire and fun and love and all the joy and travel and all kinds of exciting things.
Yeah.
So I love that. And I think that we need more examples like that. I think for the longest time, I don't know if you noticed this, but in spiritual communities, it seemed like it was a lot of single women.
Mm.
Now I'm seeing a lot of balance between that. I'm seeing a lot of women in partnerships and a lot of women not in partnerships and a nice mix of it all. I don't know. What do you make of all of that? What do you think's happening on the planet with all of this?
Um, I mean, I think part of it is our culture has really pushed this Disney version of love, you
Mhm.
know, and I don't know that I'm one to say like for anybody else what's right or wrong. Like my go-to is always like check in with yourself, like, you know, so I don't know what I would say so much about that balance of single people and married people. I think there's always going to be people at different parts of the journey, right? Because we're all going through different seasons and different times of our life. And do I wish love for everybody? Absolutely. And it may not be for everybody. My grandma was 40 when my grandpa passed and she never remarried.
Yeah.
She was very happy to be single. And
Yeah.
being in a relationship is a lot of work. It's challenged me to meet parts of myself that aren't always easy. I think it's definitely just a personal choice, how you meet yourself
Hmm.
and your life. If you don't want that, then you don't have to have it to be happy, successful, loving, kind. Um, it was just part of my journey and something that I wanted. Yeah, and here it is.
And here it is. And you manifested it. You're one of the great manifestors. It's very true, very real. I love being in fire ceremony with you because I feel like I get that extra boost of manifestation energy.
Yes, sparkle,
Um,
sparkle.
what's going on with True North Wellness? Tell us, like, what are the latest and greatest? I know you're doing a lot of new stuff. So what's going on up there in Michigan,
I'm I mean, I'm a glutton for continued education. I'm going to be
right?
starting a Singing for Your Wild Soul program that I'm so excited about. Sound
That's so perfect for you because you howl and you just talked about your wild soul. What is this singing for your wild soul?
Yeah, my friend Kimberly, down in the Jackson area, she is doing an online kind of a 6-month coaching program. And then in August, she's with a community that does sound healing immersion. And I have always loved it. When you pulled Ashanti in to do those sound healings at Dharma school, I love music. I love live music. I love sound. It's one of those things that I kind of like buried down from my childhood and being critiqued as a child because I was the little girl watching Little Mermaid, just like, like every time, loved all the songs, sing all the songs. So it was one of those passions that I told myself I wasn't good enough for. And it was something I said, fuck it. I love this. I'm going to do this. It doesn't matter if I'm perfect. My mom's not going to be listening in on every session and critiquing me. I love her. my best interest in heart, but she always let me know if I was singing through my nose. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you for that. And
So, just reclaiming that part and stepping on that journey. And she is just so knowledgeable. She took us, Steve and I, part of our honeymoon, we went on a retreat in Hawaii, and she was there and she offered a sound healing immersion. And then she also offered something while we were in the caves. We were doing a day trip to these caves, and she said, in the dark, she said, I think it's a theory. I don't know that it's ever been actually like witnessed and scientifically studied, but there's a theory that if you pitch right and um, use sound, you can actually bounce sound waves off each other in a dark cave and create light and generate light. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to know everything she knows. I want to learn all about these mystical, metaphysical, art of sound, science of sound. So I'm excited to go on that journey with her in this next cohort. Yeah.
oh, that's fantastic. I love that. And
Yeah.
did I see that you've got a workshop coming up at Stone and Crown? I can't remember if it's yoga. What is it? I can't
Yeah, yep.
remember. Oh,
So Sarah's so great. She does the monthly sister circles,
yeah.
free women's community event, and they've got this beautiful space. And so she's been saying, I want yoga in this space. And I was like, well, you know a yoga teacher.
Me.
So I can't give up every Saturday, but we decided that one Saturday a month, I'd teach two classes there, and we're starting that venture November 8th. So,
Oh, great. At the Stone and Crown. Is that in Lansing?
yep, Old Town, right on Washington.
What a beautiful space that is. It used to be an old church, right?
Yeah, yep, Eagle Ministries or something like that, but both
Yeah.
businesses were faith-based and outgrew the building. They were so successful. So we're like, that's great energy to be in.
Great energy. Yeah, we have to get her on a podcast too. So
Yeah,
if you're listening, we're
absolutely.
going to come for you. We're getting you on a podcast to hear your story of how Stone and Crown was born. But
She's
anyway,
fun.
yeah, back to True North. Your books are full. What are your success tips? Because I know you've got full books. You are a full-time body worker. You're doing this stuff full-time and you're making it work.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to people that are just getting started or not quite full yet? What would you say?
Yeah, it's so funny. I actually had a lady in the building stop me. There's a couple massage therapists in the building, and she stopped me for a quick second in between clients, and she said, "You're so busy. Like, where do you get your clients?" And I was like, "Wow, like, yeah, I am." So networking. I've really been blessed to be a part of some great networking groups and to get into some great networking groups. Lansing Ladies League is one that I absolutely adore. It's where I met Nicole and Amy, who joined Dharma School not too long ago. And Amy just got back from Shadow Walker, with you and
We had a blast. Yeah.
so I've made a lot of great connections through networking, but then I've also been blessed with, I'm continuing my continued education all the time. I love learning.
Yeah.
I came from a physical therapy background, so it's a little different from what most massage therapy schools are putting out there. um, Definitely more of a clinical, but then there's also that spiritual side where I'm like listening. I just did an interview for a magazine, and I told them sometimes I tell my clients it's like your body's like the record and my hands are like the needle, and I'm going to read the music your body wants to play. Um,
Mm,
right. So
powerful.
I just draw clients and that appreciate that. And they've referred their mothers and their sisters and their daughters and their husbands and their children. And I've just been really blessed with a loyal clientele that appreciates the services I offer. And um, so I would say, building that clientele is really networking, providing a service that the community needs,
Yeah.
and really honing in on your niche. So whatever that is, but I think I'm a big fan of continuing education, and making that growth. It helps me be proud of my work. And knowing that I'm learning all that I can, and I don't know it all, but that I'm learning all that I can to help people so that when they come into my room, I'm holding space for them as a person, but I'm also putting on my detective hat and I start using those naughty shaman skills of like tracking and what's the root of this and how can I, how can I help this person on my table today and just one at a time.
Mm,
Um, yeah, yeah.
yeah, you are so gifted.
Thanks,
Well,
Nat.
I am thrilled for you. I love it. So I love wrapping up the podcast with a book and a quote. So do you have a quote that just keeps you going or that you go back to or any kind of mantra for living?
Many ways up the mountain.
Many ways up the mountain. I like
That
that. Tell us why that means so much to you.
Because I personally used to get stuck in doing it the right way, and I have a relationship with being a know-it-all. And so,
I
so
love
that
that.
helps keep me humble and helps keep remind me that everybody's on their own journey. They don't need to be on my journey. I don't need to be on theirs, but we can walk up this mountain together. We might split off and meet up again, but there's just this idea that I can't know it all. I can't help everybody, and that there's many paths, and it just kind of brings some peace to like this idea that I've done enough and that I'll get to the top of the mountain my way, and I don't need to judge anybody else for how they get to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, that is powerful. I love that. All right. And do you have a book or an author that you're totally down with right now, or like over the history of your life was one of the best or anything?
Oh, many, Natalie. Like I
I
have
know you're a reader.
a list. Oh gosh. I would say probably one of my favorite books of all time that I read over, like probably every other year I read this book again is The Red Tent, which I know so many people have heard of it, but maybe for the ones who haven't, that story was really impactful for me coming up from a religious upbringing in Christianity and then also having this Jewish woman write, a story that's not, it's not what is it, nonfiction? It's not nonfiction, but it's a glimpse into her idea of what would have happened for this woman.
Mm,
So that was a really powerful one. That was probably one of my favorites.
yeah, awesome. I haven't read that one in such a long time. I think it was college.
Oh
So
God.
yeah, I need to go back to that book because I do think there's a wealth of information in that. And it's so female power. It's so like
Yeah.
reclaim who you are. I remember feeling that for the first time, even in my body. I remember feeling that about my body, like, oh, this is a good thing. And I don't know that I'd learned that up to that point of that book. So yeah, The Red Tent. Got it.
Yeah. Anita Diamond, I think, is the
Okay.
author. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, any other advice you want to give to people about the journey of love? I take it from one of the best lovers I know, and that is you.
I mean, loving yourself, there is a part of that. Like I was also determined to show the universe that I would love myself how I wanted. I would buy myself flowers. Um, I won't go into it. Some of it's a little more than PG-13, but I would take care of myself however I needed and love myself the way I needed until it reflected back to me, in whatever shape and form. So, um, yeah.
That's perfect. No, that's solid advice. Solid advice. Well, I look forward to being in your hands again. I love the work you did on my shoulder. It was so helpful, and I love your spirit. And I'm so glad you're out there in the world doing your Dharma. It helps so many people. Keep going, girl. Keep going. We celebrate you. Mwah.
Yeah, and we've got Firekeeper coming up in December. I'm super stoked about that.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, so if you're listening to this, you can join Kjersti in Firekeeper. She's kicking it off, I think December 1st. Did I get that date right?
Yeah,
December 1st. And what time did we go with?
I think we're gonna go 6 to 7:30.
6 to 7:30. I love it. So yeah, Firekeeper kicks off. And so join the Dharma School clan. You will not regret it. And you will learn to dance with fire. You'll learn about love. You'll learn about all the magical things. So we look forward to that. All right, my loves. Well, this is Naughty Shaman, Natalie Carlisle, and Kjersti Vandesande signing off for now. And with love always, go out there, be awesome. We'll see you soon.